actionable metrics. Actionable metrics are very specific conversion rates in your product, like how many people actually use this feature. Vanity metrics are a query in your database, how many messages got sent in your whole history of database, including spam. And always tie your metrics in the process, into your development process, the product process, business process, all processes. Google Analytics, even though it's old as hell, it is still important because it's an industry standard for your visitors, page views. What is a unique hit? You know, we need to. It's very hard to determine that. So Google Analytics allows you to talk about the same unique hits with other people. They are the industry standard. Kissmetrics is a great tool for actionable metrics. If you want to measure how many people came back after how many days, retention, this is a great tool to do it. Or funnel analytics, where you can see how many people got lost through a conversion rate when they went through your very long setup process, sign-up process. No. Gecko board. Gecko board is a summary of all your metrics and all your operational events. And Gecko board is a great way of showing your stakeholders, especially upper management, your board of directors, maybe even your investors, to give them a high-level overview of what's going on. If they have an iPad app, an iPhone app, it's great. It's a great way of summarizing what's going on. Gecko board.
This is all about
Yeah, maybe, yeah, for your investors. Metrics, maybe. Communications. This is what it's all about, of course, when we do anything we start. It's all about communication. The best communication is still face-to-face. 10 minutes at a whiteboard can change anything, or can change everything in terms of perception. When you're just standing around a whiteboard with some people, so collaboration is key. One thing I love is Google Docs. I've been using it for years. Spreadsheets, Google Docs spreadsheets. You know, I would take that over any project management tool because it's so simple. Everyone can see the overview. It's real time with your teammates. Love it. Dropbox, of course. I think a lot of us are using it already. Privately, it's also great for organizations.
Gratis semua service.
Sharing files. Yammer is a good replacement of email. More and more people or organizations are switching to social media internally. Social enterprise was called. It's really a movement, and if you start using it in your organization, you'll notice that it does streamline communication internally. AngelList is great for investor relations or putting yourself out there in front of investors. So create your page on AngelList, and it's a great vertical network for finding investors and communicating with them. Support, of course, listening to customers is vital for stability of your product, for improving your product, but also for possible pivot events of your whole product and doing something new. User voice I really like because it allows you to upvote certain feedback. Like users come in and if they report the same thing, they're forced through a process to vote if it already exists. Also, it has support with tickets for your customers. And what I like to do is create these private forums. And these private forums, internally we call them priority lanes. And these are the forums where our internal stakeholders, like investors or our own team, can vote on things. And we might give them some extra priority. Social media, also very important for listening to user feedback. So here's an example of using a tool like Bottlenose to see what's going on around your product and then visualizing it. So, bottlenose.com. And of course, there's a little side effect of all these tools. They all have their own stream and they're all coming together. So we're getting overload on all these streams. And long term, this is something I'm working on with Bottlenose, trying to, take all that together and filtering that out, making sense of it long term. And then number 7 is your own tools. because better tools, they give you an edge over your competition. So always be on the lookout for new tools. If you cannot find a tool, you have to build yourself maybe. And those tools you build, obviously they become their own startup, maybe. Like Amazon is a great example of this. So here are some of the tools that we built internally at Bottomhouse. One of them is multi-environment error reporting. So we have a system that if an error happens on any of the browsers of our users, even if it's on an iPhone or an iPad, it will get reported to a central error repository so that we can take a look at it. Okay, 678 users have experienced that error, which is very ambiguous, and then we can dig in and okay, which users, which browsers, which stack traces, and when did it happen. Very useful for us. Here's another thing we built, which is multi-environment continuous integration. We have a lot of unit tests. Unit tests are vital for ensuring quality, especially in a complex product. So we can run our JavaScript tests either on browsers or on the server side. And we have, if we needed to add a new environment, like say iPad, we open up an iPad simulator, we point it to our continuous integration URL, and it will add a new node that will keep on reporting about the stability of our system. Another thing we're working on is real-time coding. We all got very inspired by this video we saw 2 weeks ago of this guy who showed this game he was writing and he was interacting with it in a live. It was amazing. We really like that, and we're trying to decrease the feedback loop between editing your code and seeing the results. So right now our first step is that when we edit any of the CSS, actually we use less, which is similar. Whenever we edit it, it real-time changes the layout on the page, so you have a quicker feedback loop. That's cool. And that's it. Thank you.